coffee table books, are they still as in high demand as they used to be?
Well, they are, because they can't, you can't really enjoy them on like ebooks, like reading books. They don't get sold.
That's a good point.
Online.
Yeah, they look good. They're supposed to be there.
Well, they're on the coffee table.
They're on the coffee table. But are younger people
I don't know.
in those?
My books sell consistently. Nantucket Island Living, which I did with Terry 8 or 9 years ago, is still a huge seller.
When you do a book, are you trying to do something completely different from your last book? What's the whole intention?
Sure. Well, whatever's kind of,
are you the pulse? Are you trying to put your finger on the pulse, or are you a trendsetter?
Both. You have to know what's hot and what hasn't been overdone. Or is there a niche? Is there something that you can add? Well, I've lived on Nantucket now for 50 years, so I feel like I am the voice of Nantucket when it comes to home and design and decorating and how people live.
But you also have a certain style, though, Leslie. Every person does, right? How would you describe your style as compared to others?
I hope that I have been influenced by this island. Yeah. And the way it used to be, not so much the way it is now.
Right.
But
do you find that difficult, though? Is it because there's art gallery? I know a bunch of art galleries who have changed their complete line of art.
I know.
To something more modern and extremely contemporary.
Yeah. Well, people used to come here because they wanted they were buying into a lifestyle, and they really wanted to be part of the community. And when they built a house, they invited all the workers to come and join them.
Exactly.
And it was before the caretaker existed, and now the caretaker is between the owners and the workers. And there were only 2,000 people. I came here in '68. I had come here even before that, when I was really young, because my father came here in '32 before he ever met my mother. And he was a sailor from Connecticut, and he sailed up here. And when I wrote the first book, Nantucket Style, gosh, I don't know how long ago, I had to break it to my father that he did not discover Nantucket. The Indians were here before him. So, but I feel that, like Nantucket, there are lots of places throughout the country, and lately I've been hired to do lots of articles for magazines and newspapers in places about gentrification.
Interesting.
What's happening and how slow or how fast or what makes it successful. Obviously, we're going to grow.
Things change.
Right, but I use Nantucket as kind of a measure of how you can go too far, too fast for all of us to keep up with it.
Really? Do you think it's
I think it's a little bit intense.
What are the causes for that?
Well, money usually. Of course, people like us, creative people, always discover these off-the-grid places. People who are not part of quite the establishment. And this place has always been entrepreneurial. It's never been corporations or, never attracted people who wanted to go into big business. It's a lifestyle. You came here for a lifestyle. And also, it's beautiful, physically beautiful, which attracts creative people. Sure. The other thing is that there's a little bit of grit, a little rough around the edges.
It's hard to find now, isn't it? Exactly. It used to be easier to right? The grit was everywhere.
Totally. And
that's the right word, by the way. I like that.
And I did a great article in, if I can out my own word, for the Key West Citizen.
Okay.
And I got tons of letters. I got a letter from the CEO of Wells Fargo and a man in Irvington, Montana, places I had never heard of, and saying that I hit the nail on the head with what's happening to places that were once beautiful, still physically are, but getting a little bit ruined by the newness that's new people. And I interviewed a fellow, this will put it in the right perspective, I interviewed a man in Key West. His name is Dink, I can't remember his last name. Anyway, it's a character. And he grew up, his father was Hemingway's assistant, and his mother cooked for Hemingway. And he grew up kind of at the feet of Hemingway, called him Papa. And he said, he's, native Key Western, and he said, Key West and Nantucket are like a great recipe. And people come and they taste the food and they think it's just fabulous. And then they say, it could use a little salt. They put a little salt in it. And then somebody else comes and says, let's throw some carrots in.
Yeah, because we like carrots anyway from where we live.
Right. And everything from back there away, they added, and before you know it, the original recipe is gone. And that's what's happening here.
Yeah,
the original recipe is going.
What could we do, Leslie? Do you have anecdotes in your writing?
I do, but I don't try to. I try not to be opinionated. I just try to give an overview of what I'm seeing, and I don't know that there's a solution.
Right.
We live in a free society, and you can't tell people what to do. But I just wish that there was a little more awareness from both sides, those coming in and those who are here, of just being careful not to ruin the infrastructure of the island. And all these oversized houses and all the pools. Right. What is it doing to the island? What is it doing to the way of?
How does it represent us as, we think of ourselves as Nantucketers. When I moved here in the 80s, I bought into the whole funkiness of what the place was. It was really kind of funky. There were some Irish and Jamaicans, but most local people were working to stay here, to have the privilege.
Yeah,
and people were pinching themselves, going, "Gosh, can you believe we live on this island?"
I know that we discovered it.
We discovered it, your dad, we didn't really discover it, did we?
No, we didn't. And maybe everybody who comes here, when they come here, they think this is the way it is.
Yeah, exactly. It's their Nantucket now.
And
it's not what it was then. It's now. This is what it's like.
Right, and they may at some point say, "Oh, I wish it was the way it was when I came."
Exactly.
We don't know.
Yeah, that's right.
We can't tell. But we used to have much more, many more restrictions. We used to have a lot more governing agencies that kept things from happening, like Surfside Crossing is happening.
Oh, I see.
But
that goes to money, though.
Yeah.
That's that money.
That's the bottom line for everything.
It is the bottom line.
Yeah.
And we have to call it what it is.
So, of course, on the other hand, we've gotten lots of great services because we have wealth coming here, because people with taste and with the means to restore these houses are doing a beautiful job of restoring them.
Yes, they are.
We have the new hospital that's wonderful.
Right.
We have a lot of good things, so it's not all terrible. Gentrification isn't all terrible.
Sure.
I just find that there's a fine line on the pace of how fast things happen,
And it is busier, and so that creates the illusion that I can't concentrate as easily, or when things are quieter, it's easier to think than it is when there's so much stimuli.
Right.
And the internet has done that as well.
Right.
We got to blame them too.
Look at that's going next year.
I know, isn't that sad?
Yeah, where'd that sign come from for now?
Who knows? I see new places constantly all over the place.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the house, let's get back into what you do.
Okay.
And you're
house,
good at.
What I do.
You're writing articles. You also write the real estate articles.
I do the real estate. I'm a writer who's for hire. But I love writing about home. That's my basic subject, and I find that I did the real estate section as kind of a favor. Marianne had said that a reporter had left 2 Novembers ago, and would I pitch in for a month till they found somebody. And I was on my way to Key West, and I did it from there because I know the houses, I know the island, you know, it's not that difficult to do it. And then I found I loved it, so it's 2 years now, and I'm still doing it. I go out every week with Nicole, the photographer from the paper, and we see a house that's going to be featured. The real estate agents circulate, you know, they rotate. They each have their week to feature a home. And it's just great fun. It's, as I said, it's being a voyeur. But mostly, I always have a book. I have over 80 books published.
Do you?
Yeah. I did lots and lots of craft books for all the publishers in New York. I've never self-published, never had to. And I... when crafts sort of went out of favor, women were going back to work and all that. So I just moved into the decorating area and started writing about homes. And actually, Nantucket Style was my first style book. I write about what you know.
So when you write about the real estate pieces,
those are all for sale.
That's for sale.
Copy.
Yeah, right. You're just selling
But I
the
like
house.
to romance the house. And,
do you do?
Yeah, romance the area mostly. I just finished one on Dukes Road and then another one.
How would you describe that? I mean, just off.
Well, it's a new house.
Yeah.
And
what makes it?
I would say that the area is wonderful. It's halfway between town and going to the beach. And
it does have the dirt road feel still.
Right. And you're close to the bike path.
Yeah.
So, you know, I like writing about the area that the house is in and telling people why it's a great area, because there's no area that isn't great, really, on the island.
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Do you ever write about Mid-Island, though? Well, Bartlett Road?
If I have a house that's on that.
Yeah.
But I don't. I don't pick the house.
What would make Bartlett Road great?
You're close to everything.
Yeah.
You're close to a great bike path. You're close to my favorite beach, Cisco Beach. You're close to Bartlett's. I mean, the convenience.
And it's also commercial, right? It can both be commercial and residential.
Exactly.
So that if you've got a business, you got to throw that in there too, right?
Yeah. So every area has something that makes it a good place to live on this island.
Yeah.
I mean, I can think of a few places that are a little iffy, but I don't get those.
Right, exactly. So you go between Nantucket and Key West?
Well, I go to Key West we started going to Key West by accident. I did Nantucket Style for Rizzoli. And they called us. We were just finishing the book. John did the photography. We just finished the book, and we were coming home. It was August, and there was a message on our answer machine that said, "How would you guys like to do a book for us on Key West houses this winter?" And I said, "Oh no, we'd rather stay in Nantucket all winter than go to Key West."
Yeah, right. You were completely joking, though, right?
Yeah, we had never been there.
What a thrill!
And we had friends there. Carol and Carl Lindquist.
Oh, sure.
He was Carol's father.
Okay.
And he lived here forever. And they were down in Key West. And he said, "Oh, you have to come to Key West." But we were working. We didn't have the luxury of just going off for the winter, So we took the assignment and we went to Key West, and it was just a fabulous.
Like how many years ago?
Oh, 25 years ago.
Yeah, right.
And so we said, "This is great." We owned an apartment in New York because I had to be there for the work with the magazines, and I'd go back and forth. And so we gave up the apartment, and after a bit, and we started going to Key West every year, always getting work from the magazines. So we'd shoot stories for the summer issues in the winter. It was perfect. It was just great. We said, "Oh, well, we don't want to be in New York anymore." John and I had such a good time. Our lifestyle was so great. We always made our work around our life, At one point, we were doing a lot of books, 4 books a year for Book of the Month Club, which was the craft section was part of the Better Homes and Gardens book club and the magazine. And they had hired John to do all the layouts for their books, and I was writing all their books in conjunction with St. Martin's Press. I was with them for about 16 books. And at one point, they left New York. and they said, we're going back to Des Moines, which was their headquarters, and did we want to come and head up the book division? And they offered us a great deal of money, but we had a pact when we first got married that this was our lifestyle, Nantucket, and we would get lots of offers for jobs along the way, but we would always measure it against our lifestyle, and together we looked at each other and we said, there is no way we're moving to Des Moines, Iowa. So we gave that up, and and that's why we started the store. The year we started the store was because we had
how many years did you do that?
We did it for 20 years.
20 years, jeez.
We had no money, all our eggs in one basket, and naturally, we were young, we were spending money like crazy because we thought it was going to go on forever. And so we started.
Why did it close?
Well, we were doing all the books for them, but they wanted to have it all done.
What did the internet hurt you at all?
No,
not really, because you're so. Because of why?
Well,
why didn't it hurt you?
I don't know.
It hurts everybody else.
Well, I write the kind of books that are
Is this your house?
So visual.
No, that one.
You can pull right into my driveway.
I will, yeah.
I write books that are so visual that, I don't know. I just don't.
Well, I also think that, I was talking about your store, actually.
Yeah.
I think.
Internet for the store?
Why did the store close?
Because everything.
What did the internet have anything to do with that? I don't think so.
No, not at all. Everything was handmade.
Handmade, exactly.
Yeah. No, John got sick. He had cancer, and he got sick, and
he was sick for a while, was he?
About 8 years, and nobody knew. Nobody knew it. Well, our professional life was so public that we kept our private life very private, our personal life.
Yeah.
And when you're sick, it defines you, and people come up and say, "How's John?"
Yeah.
So we just didn't it didn't interfere with us either.
You must miss him.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, I do. And that's why I'm a happy person. I can't sit around grieving. I had a great life with him.
Yeah, okay.
And actually, you know what? He didn't have an ego, but he was 10 years older than me. Mm-hmm. And he had such a great career. As a graphic designer, he won all kinds of awards. He did a lot of major films. And he was ready to support my career.
He seemed that way too.
Did, yeah.
He really was a partner for you.
Yeah, terrific. Yeah, I don't think that I could have had the success that I had I not had him. Just really is. Hey, this was fun. We didn't even talk about the fact that it's raining.
They'll see it.
Does it rain on the
There's a camera out there pointing at the rain.
Really? Is this on or off?
It's on.
Oh, no. Okay.
That's the beauty of it. Everything.
It's always on.
It's always on. And then I just take I edit it up and we'll see where we go with it.
Hey, this was good.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you. It's always fun.
Always.
You're
I
one of
love
my
seeing
favorite people.
You too. You're up there.
I see you on the street and you're laughing and happy.
Well,
it's great.
Thank you, Leslie.
Thanks. Okay, I go back to my real estate columns.
Okay, well, listen, have fun, You're always having fun.
Always have fun. If you don't have fun, what's the point?
Will you be in Key West again?
I hope so.
You do?
Yeah.
You like the differences?
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I would think so. I would too.
Oh,
it's funky there, right?
It's funky, but you know what? It's getting to be out of sight. Money.
It's just too
gentrified. It's so expensive.
I hate that.
I know, because the real people can't come back.
Exactly.
Yeah, so then you get homogenous.
Yeah, exactly. I know it.
God, you talk all day long.
Me?
Yeah, you have to. Oh, I thought you had to do
I don't keep doing these. Oh. No, these are few and far between.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, Leslie.
Thanks.